We're Smooth Jazz Notes, and we're here interviewing James Lloyd of Pieces of a Dream. Pieces of a Dream started out as a school band in 1976 when you were 12 years old, almost 35 years ago. When did you first start playing piano?
I first started playing piano when I was 6 years old. I started out classically. And the reason I started playing piano was because my older brother started taking piano lessons, and I couldn't stand to see him doing anything I wasn't doing. So then I started going as well. And I just took to it and stayed with it.
So how did you end up forming a band when you were just 12 years old?
Well, we first formed the band for the talent show at A. Lewis Middle School, where we attended. And that was our first, time really playing together as a smaller unit. We were part of the jazz band at school, and that's where we met. But then we started doing like block parties and wedding receptions and dinner dances, that whole thing, and then got discovered by Grover Washington Jr. I think I was 15, and he announced that he was starting a production company. We were going to be his first act to be produced, and so yeah.
So this was you and Curtis and Cedric, right, at that time?
Yes.
The three of you. So I understand the three of you, the trio, landed a spot as a house band for a local television show called City Lights when you were just 13. Tell us how this came about.
Well, I'm not so sure how that came about. I guess they just called the manager and, said, hey, we want these guys to be the house band, Back then, we were so young, didn't realize what was going on. Hey, go over here and play, and cool. So, we were in a house band for City Lights, and we got to back several artists on that show. Dave Valentine, Clark Terry, Jerry Butler, and Growver. And that was our first time actually playing with him.
So how did you actually meet Grover Washington Jr.? He's obviously one of the most admired musicians in smooth jazz. How did you actually meet him?
Through the TV show City Lights. That's where we first met and played together for the first time. We backed him on 2 tunes on that show. And soon after that, we were performing at the Bijou. We did his Live at the Bijou album. And he was in the audience, we asked him to come up and sit in with us, and he did. And we played Mr. Magic with Grover at the Bijou. So, it was like, whoa.
And how old were you then?
Then I think I was either 14 or 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an opportunity. So here you are, you're 16 years old, you're traveling around the world with Grover Washington Jr. Can you tell us about this experience?
It was like living a dream. It really was. I enjoyed it immensely then, but I think I appreciate it more now, that I can realize what was going on, actually. But, we were going all over the world. We would open as Pieces and then play as part of his rhythm section as well. So it was like double duty, and, just got to see so many different places and play for so many people. It was incredible.
So is this what inspired you to name your band Pieces of a Dream?
The name was taken from a tune we used to do by Stanley Turrentine, Pieces of Dreams. And the concept was like, there was 3 guys who were searching for a musical dream, and we were the pieces.
So Grover produced your first 3 albums from 1981 to 1983, producing the hit songs Warm Weather, Mount Airy Groove,
Mm-hmm.
and Fo Fi Fo.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Wow, those were like, I guess our first, I guess you could call them, hits or whatever. It was really amazing because a lot of the music, we just got together and wrote ourselves, and he was like, okay, cool, we'll put that on, and just produce it and just let us be free to be ourselves. And so I still remember the first time hearing it on the radio. It's like, whoa, 3 of us were riding together. It was like the movie 5 Heartbeats, or That Thing You Do, run down the street, wow. So yeah.
Well, so there, you had a 3-year gap until your next album in 1986. You were 18 to 21 during that time. What were you doing in this time period?
A lot of touring. You know, we used to joke about the fact that we were like one of the most working bands without a new album out. You know, I mean, we stayed on the road during that whole period, and I guess that's probably part of the reason that we weren't able to do an album then. Hey, we got some background music there.
Isn't that nice? So in 1986, you moved to Manhattan Records for your 4th release, Joyride. Why did you decide to make the change?
I believe what happened is that Grover's contract was up with Elektra, and so then, you know, our contract was through him. So yeah, so then we wound up with you know, at the new label, and did, you know, some albums there, and went to Blue Note for a little while.
Well, your first few albums were more on the fusion side, and as your music matured, you have leaned more towards smooth jazz.
Yeah, I would say, you know, we kind of try and stay current, you know, like follow the pulse of where, you know, our genre is heading, and, you know, back then there wasn't even a thing smooth jazz, there wasn't a term smooth jazz, much less a genre or radio stations or you know, or tours, and you know what I mean, the packages and smooth jazz festivals, you know, so it was, you know, there weren't as many, I guess, outlets for what we were doing, you know, media-wise, but you know, we just tried to stay current with the times, and you know, keep abreast of what's happening, and do music that somewhat fits that, but is also us.